Hello, dear friends. Welcome to another study of the book Green Light by the Spirit, Luiz, through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. What a blessing to be with you as we continue this most important study in these difficult times of the earth. What else could we ask for if not the consoling words of the superior spirits to help you and I during these times? A lot of teachings. So last week, um, we've been talking about the previous weeks about managers and followers, and then duty and work, professions, and then today, commitments of work. More wisdom on how to behave or comport ourselves in the world as we go about and fulfill our professional duties. Remember, the law of work is a law, and work is any useful activity, but today he's going to be mainly talking about the professions when we go somewhere and we have a job, but this can always be applied to our daily lives. Taking care of our homes is a job, take care of one another is a job, fulfilling our obligations in the spiritist arena is a job, or volunteer work, because a work is any useful activity. We're going to be talking about the work that is remunerated or paid for. So he starts by telling us, remember, friends, I'll be reading and making some comments, and you're also welcome to say hi and make comments as well. You can always write to kardecradio@gmail.com or info@ssrichmond.org if you want to talk directly to me. We're open to your feedback. We would love to interact with you as well. Chapter 19, commitments of work or work commitments. I'll put it here so people know when we're here. Luiz says, quote, never be ashamed or complain when serving. It is our simple duty to enhance our professional work while acquiring new knowledge. Cooperate with the management or your manager by doing your job correctly without inviting adulation or unnecessary praise. Under no circumstance diminish or undervalue the efforts of your colleagues. Never pretend to be ill or in an accident with an eye of getting benefits from social organizations or from official organizations, for life usually charges a high price for such lies. That's unquote for now, so that's half of the chapter. And he's telling us, no matter the work we do, no matter how much value society put on different tasks, never be ashamed of serving or never complain when serving. Even if we are given a work in this life that makes the life of everyone better, we may not be as remunerated or as appreciated, because remember, this is a world of trials and expiations where evil still predominates over goodness, even though goodness is abundant and much more in the universe than evil. But in this world right now, we are still learning how to value all kinds of work. No matter what you do, he says, never be ashamed or complain, because each and every work is an opportunity for us to acquire knowledge. He says it's our simple duty to enhance the work acquired while acquiring new skills. When we go to work, in a small organization, a big organization, doing the smallest task of maintenance of a building or leading the company, he says it doesn't matter. Always serve. Improve whatever organizational institution you are. Improve your work by gaining new knowledge. We can always contribute. Every single work is very important, as long as the work is aligned with the laws of God. Work that hurt others, work that exploit others, that is not what we're talking about. We're talking about legitimate work that brings betterment to society. And he says, cooperate with the management. How many of us complain about our bosses and we don't see the importance of what they're doing. We don't understand the rules. And then what we do is complain. They say, no, we need to cooperate with the management. Without inviting adulation, lots of us go to work um, and are looking for that praise because we ourselves need to work on um, self love, self knowledge, self esteem. But then we seek that with our work. And then we have to be careful because he's under Luiz is reminding us, don't invite praise, unnecessary praise or adulation from our colleagues. We just do our work. Well done. That's the important part here. He says, do not diminish or undervalue or devalue the efforts of the colleagues. We should never be looking for praise for ourselves or growth in our profession while putting others down. And then he will continue, and he talks about not pretending to be ill so we can take advantage of leaves and pensions and benefits that we're not entitled to. But then he will continue in the same line of how to work with the work we do in collaboration with the work of our colleagues. So he will say, quote, do not attribute only to yourself the success of this or that task by recognizing that in any work, the spirit of a team, the team spirit, has to be taken into consideration. So when we are in an organization, from anywhere in the organizational chart, it's a team effort. The CEO can only do what she does because of the individual contributions of each team member. And the team members can only do what they do because there's someone caring for the physical environment that they are in, either be maintaining things, cleaning things, the grounds, the building itself. So it's always a teamwork. In our homes, the success of our families and homes is teamwork. The success of the spiritist endeavor is teamwork. So he says, never just attribute the success to you. We see a lot of that in this world where people do take ownership of other work. But he's saying, don't do that. We can only control what we do. So he's saying, don't in- incur in it. That's an error. We're attributing um, to ourselves work we didn't do. He says obstructing work is to always depreciate our own interests. So when we are joining an organization, we need to ask ourselves, am I good at this? What are my values? What am I good at? What are the kind of things I can do well? Then if I join an organization, I shouldn't be joining and then obstructing the work because I'm depreciating my own interest. So it's important that we take time. Sometimes in our lives, we have to take jobs because we have to pay the bills. Or other times we have the luxury of choosing a specific job or organization. And when we get there, we shouldn't be obstructing the work. We should be honest to say, this is not good for me. This is not a good match. And then we'll look for another work. And he says, quote, to accept or encourage disorder is to support our own imbalance. How many of us go to organizations and then we support disorder? We're always questioning, we're always complaining. There's always something we can't do or a rule that we don't agree with. But we are then encouraging disorder, which nevertheless makes us unbalanced. So let's think about this. When we look at the other books of Andre Luiz, where he is preparing to come to the earth as millions of spirits do every day to help you and I during our sleep time. There's order. They prepare, they plan, they debrief. There's someone in charge. There's someone who receives instructions from the higher realms. There are other spirits who go to places and then act, actually do the work in collaboration with us and with the spirits that are suffering in the lower zones. There's order, and you don't see in those work groups even though under Luiz is not necessarily remunerated. We're talking about work here, as in our jobs. But nobody is um, questioning, overstepping. They're all looking at what they can do. What is my role here? The ones who are encouraging disorder are the ones who are unbalanced and increasing their unbalanced state. So we don't want to be that person. He will continue. There's two more phrases for this. He says, there are innumerable ways of promoting as well as improving yourself in the area where you perform your work without making use of disrespect, perturbations, bitterness, or revolt. Unquote for now. So there are many ways that we can get better, that we can move on, that we can learn, we can honor the abilities and the opportunities God is granting to you and I in this life without disrespecting anyone, without causing disagreements and imbalances, bitterness, or revolt. So there are ways that we can go about the world fulfilling our duties, yet being respectful. Even though the world is changing, the vibratory tone of the planet is changing, we are in planetary transition. Some of us are having a hard time adjusting to the new era. The new era where physical, material is going to be less than the importance of developing the spiritual benefits. Not that we're not going to aim for having a safe house, a safe neighborhood, a job, things in general. But the problem is when the things have us, when we put aside developing qualities of kindness, compassion, meekness, peacefulness in order to acquire things. We just go about our day fulfilling the instincts and our physical demands. The earth is changing. The way we treat one another is changing. The ability to see one another as unique and embrace differences is going to be where we go. Remember, as spirits, we are reincarnated in specific places with specific bodies to fulfill specific missions, or, excuse me, specific duties. We're still in a reincarnatory plan. Very few of us are here on mission trips. The majority of us is still reaping what we sowed in previous lives. So when we take that into consideration, we take the view of the immortal spirit, instances of disrespect, perturbations, bitterness, and revolt, which we see more and more because of the access to information we have, that is not going to be in the world our generation as much. It definitely is not in the joyful and celestial worlds, in places where Jesus lived, for example. Because we can be in the world without respecting others. And last but not least, he says, remember that in terms of remuneration, the one who works should be paid, just as the one who is paid should work, unquote. So he's reminding us if we have a job, and we are paid, we do the job, we should be paid. But if we are being paid, we need to work. We need to be at work doing work. We need to contribute to the mission and the goals of that organization. We can, while doing that, we're interacting with others, we're fulfilling the law of work, the law of society, with the improvement and betterment of everyone, while we acquire knowledge, while we learn to be in communion, while we learn to address differences, when we learn to be respectful, kind, joyful of this opportunity. There are many, many people in the world who don't have a job, who can't work. And there are many spirits who are waiting for the opportunity to reincarnate. And we have the blessing of the physical body to be here today discussing this wonderful physical. I have the physical book of the book Green Light by the spirit Andre Luiz through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. And as always, dear friends, thank you so very much for being here today. Thank you for granting me the honor of your presence. I hope that you, between now and the next time we meet, you can stay well, you can stay safe, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.